The classroom was almost empty when the bell rang for lunch. Most students rushed to the cafeteria, but Emily stayed behind, quietly organizing her books. Emily was the type of girl who blended into the background. Soft-spoken, reserved, always sitting at the back of the class. She never raised her voice, never argued, never caused trouble. But that silence, unfortunately, made her an easy target. 3 students lingered near the doorway. Mark, Jason, and Chloe, known for their cruel jokes and constant bullying, exchanged smirks. Emily noticed them but kept her eyes down, hoping they would just leave. But they didn't. "Look at her," Jason sneered. "Always hiding in her little bubble. Let's make her fun for once." Before Emily could react, Chloe walked up and snatched the book from her desk. Emily gasped softly, reaching for it, but Chloe pulled it away and laughed. Then, in a moment of cruel impulse, Mark shoved Emily into a chair and held her arms while Jason pulled out a roll of tape from his bag. "Please, stop," Emily begged, her voice trembling. But they didn't listen. They tied her wrists to the arms of the chair, wrapped tape around her ankles, and laughed as if it were a game. Chloe grabbed a black marker from the teacher's desk. "Let's give her a makeover." She giggled, drawing lines on Emily's cheeks. Jason scribbled fake mustaches and words across her arms while Mark held her down. Each laugh felt like a knife in Emily's chest. Tears welled in her eyes. She wanted to disappear, to vanish from that moment, but something inside her was breaking. Something deep and long ignored. All those years of silence, of swallowing her pain, of letting herself be the shadow everyone pushed around, came rushing up like a tidal wave. The bullies were too busy mocking her to notice that Emily's wrists were slowly slipping out of the tape. She pulled hard, ignoring the burn of the adhesive against her skin, and suddenly her right hand was free. Her heart pounded. Her fear turned into something else. Something sharp, something powerful. With one swift motion, Emily ripped off the tape, grabbed the marker from Chloe's hand, and stood tall. For the first time, her eyes burned with defiance. The bullies froze, stunned. Emily stepped forward and pressed the marker against Jason's arm, drawing bold lines across his skin. "You think this is funny," she said, her voice steady, no longer weak. "Let's see how you like being marked." Jason tried to pull away, but Emily shoved him back with surprising strength. She turned to Chloe, who backed up against the desk, wide-eyed. Emily marked a thick line across her cheek, the way they had done to her. Mark, usually the toughest of the 3, suddenly looked small. Emily drew across his forehead, leaving a bold black streak that made him stumble back in shame. The room fell silent except for Emily's heavy breathing. The bullies, who had been laughing moments ago, now stood red, faced and humiliated. "Never again," Emily said firmly. "I won't be your toy anymore." Her words echoed in the classroom, heavier than any punch. The bullies didn't fight back. They couldn't. For the first time, Emily had shown them that she was not weak, not powerless. When the teacher returned, she immediately noticed the tape on the floor, the marker stains on everyone's skin, and the trembling silence of the bullies. Emily told the truth, every detail. The bullies tried to laugh it off, but their stained faces told the story more clearly than words ever could. They were punished, and news spread across the school. But more importantly, Emily changed. The girl who once sat in the shadows found her voice. She no longer walked with her head down. When she entered the cafeteria that day, students looked at her differently. Not as the shy girl they could push around, but as someone strong, someone who had stood up against cruelty. The bullies avoided her after that. They couldn't forget the day the quiet girl they mocked turned their own game against them. And Emily. She learned that strength isn't always loud. It's often quiet until the moment it's needed most. The story of Emily became a reminder for everyone's silence should never be mistaken for weakness. And kindness should never be taken as an invitation for cruelty. Because when pushed too far, even the quietest voices can roar louder than anyone expects.